So a comfortable seat. So hero's pose, Virasana, because it is foot week. And so I like to sit up on my block. So this pose classically, you sit between the heels. And I find that if I plop my tush down, I have about a quarter of an inch to go before I can actually ground on my katukas. So a block, a blanket does the same thing. We'll just give that height. So your heels are outside of your hips, not underneath them. Take your thumbs to the bottom of your feet and just iron the bottom of your feet back. And yes, Sally, you are choosing the right pose for you. And let each toe get a little bit of a downward invitation so that the toes are all resting on the mat and they're going straight back, not sickling under, so that the ankle is in its neutral position. Dorsiflexion. I call it just ankle flexion. And over time, our ankles, they can get a little creaky. And then we take a wrong step off a curb or we stumble over a pet or something. And that doesn't always go well, especially if the bones are brittler. But we're taking care of all of that today. Starting with Prithvi Mudra. Prithvi means earth. So simply take your thumb to the ring finger. So this mudra helps ground because it invites in the earth element in the body. And that is the element we want in our bones, in our skeleton. We want density. We want strength, solidity. As we age, we all become more and more vata, which is space. We become a little brittle. But if we find that we are anxious, this mudra is also a very good mudra because, again, it helps ground into the earth energy, making us feel more grounded. This mudra also has the added benefits of it helps circulation. So it's really good for cardiovascular health. It also, and I love these, it increases patience and tolerance. Who does not need that? This is our ticket to a little kinder and softer existence. And additionally, it helps eliminate fatigue and a sense of weakness. And when we practice mudras, just sitting with your hands like this, you don't have to do anything. So you can do it if you are a passenger in a car, or you're watching TV, or you're just having a moment. You just need to take a moment and breathe. So we often see the jhana mudra for the meditation mudra, the one they always show in ads, the index finger to the thumb. But as we change how we hold our hands, it changes what portals, energetic portals, we are accessing in our bodies, which makes them so powerful. So breathing in and breathing out. Letting the belly expand on the in-breath, softening on the out-breath. A sense of breathing into your hips, breathing into your legs, into your feet. So you connect fully. And then next, we'll add the Brahmari breath, the bumblebee pranayama. So it's both a mantra because it has a sound and a breathing practice. That increases literally the vibration in our bodies. They know hummers are healthier than non-hummers, and it doesn't have to be a mantra or something that sounds foreign. It can be anything you like to hum. But what the Brahmari breath does, it stimulates the throat, which is also, of course, the thyroid and the parathyroid, which we really need to stimulate for, again, strong bones. This is where there's a little calcium meter that monitors the calcium in our blood system. So it secretes a little bit more calcium in, and then it takes a little bit away. And this is how our bone strength, osteo, is controlled from within instead of from without. The bumblebee breath is simple humming. It sounds like this. And then a quick reminder to keep your jaw relaxed. Don't clamp your teeth together. And then classically, you place the tip of the tongue up in the soft palate, but that's not comfortable for everybody. You can also place the tongue behind the front teeth or wherever it is comfortable for you. We'll do 6 repetitions. Let's start. Take a breath in. Relaxing everything, but sense how everything got a little bit of a adrenaline squirt or vitality invitation from the humming. Just turn everything on a little bit. We'll open the eyes. Stretch the fingers, and let's start with our opening stretches. Palms to the sky, chin to the chest, extending up. And as you inhale, take the head up and the hands down. And then switch, go back again, chin to the chest, arms up. So again, we're working the thyroid glands and the parathyroid. This with gently massaging. And then holding it up, reach the palms up, 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 up. And take the hands down. Let's roll the shoulders several times, each direction. And we'll take the legs out in front. I'm switching the order up this week, as some of you know I tend to do. We'll take the soles of the feet in. This is Baddha Konasana. It will help us prepare for tree pose. So all poses are part of all poses. Now here, let's exhale around. So a little seated cat and cow. Inhale, arch. So I'm still sitting up on my block. It allows me a little bit of height. Especially if I know my hips are a little tighter. Elevate, elevate, elevate. And then let's stay in the lifted position. Lift the heart. Let your inner light shine brightly. as you lengthen out through the inner knees and let the soles of the feet begin to fall apart. They may not go very far from one another, or they may come to almost lay flat with the top on the floor. We'll bring the soles of the feet together, bring the knees together. Take the legs out in front. And then you can still sit up on a blanket. You may sit up on also on a block. We're setting up for one of the poses in the sequence. There are 3 twists in the sequence. And I'm going to spread them out throughout instead of bang them all in together. So let's take the right knee in. So I'm sitting up on a blanket now. We'll take the right knee in. So Marichyasana 3. Take your left hand to the outer right knee, and I'm going to turn around so you can see me from the side. I think that's going to show a little bit better. So the left hand to the outer right knee, and then the right hand just goes back. So even though if you can hug the knee, that may cause rounding up the spine. And again, spine is king. We want to maintain the strong lifting. Shoulder blades are down. And then I invite you to create a little bit more lift. And then as you exhale, use your muscles to dial you into the twist. So be very light in your hand. Don't use it as leverage. Inhale, lift, lift, lift. And exhale, deepen the twist. Again, lifting and exhale, deepening. Letting the muscles do the turning so that the muscles are contracting, pulling, pushing you into the twist. And this is the action that facilitates bone growth, where the muscles are creating torque and then release, torque and then release. Now you're all going to release. I know I wasn't very clear in my language. We'll come back to center. Let's take the other leg in, switch hands, boom. And again, inhale, lengthening up. So the straight leg, firm, not rigid, but firm. Reaching up through the crown of the head and begin again to steer. Be patient. With each in-breath, we move the upper back in and lift the inner leg, lift the leg. So the shoulder blades are drawn together and down the back, together and down. Lifting up, deepening the twist. Explore, so be curious. It's not about to get to the end quickly. It's about, they say it all the time, enjoy the journey. And then slowly, let's release all the way back. Seated staff pose. Take the hands beside the hips, ground the legs, ground the feet. Not the feet, the legs and the hands. And lift up again, lift the spine, lift the spine. Shoulders are down. Again, the light lifts. And from here, let's come on to tabletop. So I'm moving everything off the mat. Because another good place to put in a pose. So from tabletop, walk your knees back a wee bit, and then lower all the way down. Let's roll the shoulders up and down the back, and then lift up into a little cobra. Just a wee one. Lowering back down again. So the back bends in the sequence helps us maintain the length of the front of the spine. Roll the shoulders up and down the back again. So they're drawing down and drawing together, facilitating the lifting of the heart. Lifting up the heart and lowering down again. And then take the hands down alongside the hips. Tailbone towards the heels. Let's roll the shoulders up and down the back. And then inhale, lift the head, lift the heart, arms and hands lifting, breathing. And if it's available, add the legs, adding the legs. Easy peasy, Shalabhasana, the whole back seam is turning on and lowering down. Let everything relax. Shalabhasana. Oh, guys, one of my favorite poses because it is so powerful. So we should add one more just for good measure. So again, let me have a look, see. Roll the shoulders up and down the back, tailbone towards the heels, and then inhale, lift, whatever you can grab. Keep the back of the neck long, keep the legs straight, keep the legs straight. Sometimes we bend the knees because it feels like we get a little bit more height on the legs, but actually we want to have a chat with the hip flexor, not the hip flexors, the glutes and the low back. Breathing in and breathing out. Lift, 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 lift. Shoulder blades together, squeezing down and lowering down. Take the hands under the shoulders and push back to puppy pose. Pushing back to puppy pose. Toes are tucked under. And then let's inhale up to modified plank and draw back to downward facing dog. Take your dog for a little walk. Just wee around. So, if your hamstrings are a little tight, then that can cause the upper back to round in this pose. So just bend the knees so you can continue to pull the hips back, pull the hips back. Letting the shoulder blades be broad. What's the dog doing today? Is it a happy dog, playful dog, sluggish dog? And from here, look up. And as you exhale, walk or step the feet towards the hands, hands to the feet. And then take your hands to your lower legs. Because Uttanasana, forward fold, is a pose that we get in trouble in. So notice your spine here on a flat back. Now, hinging from the hips, not the spine. That's your forward fold. So notice if you are not moving so much to the hips, but you're moving more in the upper back, then just bend the knees. Boom, and there's the floor. The spine is not rounded. We just took it out of the spine, so it's still long. Now from here, take the hands to the hips, and then pistons the heels down, and whoop, up you come. Let's take the chair, place it on the mat. And again, what the chair does, it helps us keep our spine from rounding unintentionally. I think I can move back a little bit or move. Let's see here. I got a lot of floor real estate here, so let me do this. Boom. So the chair, we get all the benefits of the sun salutation, but without the risk. So I hear Terry Brown's words, place all 4 chair legs on your mat, and then stand in mountain pose. Feet either hip width or together. It's whatever is comfortable for you. Let's lift and spread the toes. Lift and spread the toes. And we get the arches activated. Let the weight draw down through the heels. Stretch the big toes forward. And you can peek down and look at them as the big toe very daintily come to the mat. Stretch the pinky toe forward. And that too, the pad of the pinky toe comes to the mat. So the 3 guys in the middle, still up. How hard are your legs working? So keep grounded. That again, earth energy in our standing poses is paramount. Now let the toes, 3 guys in the middle, relax, but keep the arches lifted. And this inhale, drawing up the front of the body, sternum lifts. Let's take the arms out and up. And exhale, bend the knees, chair pose. And in chair pose, if the shoulders are tight, we often round. So I have the arms parallel to the ground instead. Hugging muscle in around bones. Keep the weight in the heels, weight in the heels. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half forward fold. Now this is all flat back. Left leg to the chair, right leg all the way back. And then inhale, lift the heart. Powerful, strong legs. Maybe you like to take your wings and apply them into the pose, lifting the arms, or keep the hands down. So hug muscle around bone. We'll take the hands to the chair and go back to downward facing dog. Lengthen back. Inhale forward to plank pose. Creating a straight line, crown of the head to the heels. And then let's take the knees down. Because if we have a wrist day and we're not loving the weight on the hands, camel pose is always available. Take the hands to the hips, shoulders up and down the back, and lift the heart. So here's our back bend. Opening the throat. And exhale all the way up. Hands back to the chair, and we travel back to downward facing dog. Look up on the inhalation, exhale, right leg to the chair. And then lift the heart. The hands can stay on the chair, or they can come to the side. Lift, lift, lift your inner leg. Strong and powerful legs, supporting the spine. And exhale, let's take the hands to the chair, slide the foot back a wee bit. Left leg steps up. So watch your spine here. As you fold into Uttanasana, no change in the spine. It is a hip movement. So maybe bend the knees. Maybe bend the knees as you draw the head down a little closer. And then press the heels down as we sweep the arms out and up. And exhale. Hands and gaze to the heart. Let's do the left side. Inhale, hands, gaze to the sky. Exhale, hands to the chair. Right leg comes forward. Left leg goes back. So right now my body is in Tadasana. The back leg, straight line from heel, hip, shoulders, and head. The front leg is kind of in chair pose. Inhale, lift the heart, and then get the legs on board. Hug the thighs together, wrap muscle around bone, and then again, maybe take flight. Let your wings spread. Powerful legs and hands down. Draw back to downward facing dog. Inhale forward to plank. So now the option is, if you have a wrist day, take the knees down. Otherwise, a little push-up. Bend the elbows, straighten the elbows, and then push forward into upward facing dog. Lift the heart. Lift the heart. And exhale. Downward facing dog. Look up on the in-breath, and left leg travels up. We got the hands are supporting us. We get the legs all set up, hugging in, wrapping, and then maybe again, we take flight. Easy peasy. And breathe. And we'll take the hands down, slide the left foot back, step up to the chair, and Uttanasana, forward fold, with or without knee bend. Bend the knees now if you haven't already. Bending the knees. Now take your Your back body, back of the head and your sacrum travels on the same plane. Back of the head and the sacrum on the same plane. Begin to sit down into chair pose again, Utkatasana. Drop the tush down, back, and again lift the arms. So this time we backed into it. There are many ways we can alter this all day long. So it's not about following a very rigid prescription. It's about being playful in your practice and understand what does what. Let's press into the heels, come all the way up. Tall mountain, and take the hands down. That was just one little happy sun salutation, right? Piece of cake. Now, chair pose. Not chair pose, tree pose, Vrikshasana. I'm turning my chair around so I have access to support if my balance is a little tricky. So that, again, that's the key consideration with osteopenia, osteoporosis. We are more likely to have a fracture if we fall. Let's start in kickstand. So I have the chair to my, I think I'm mirrored, so this is to my right side, but it may look like my left. But the side that is facing the chair is your grounding leg. So the other leg, I'm going to just put in a kickstand, taking the heel to the ankle, and the toes are down. So now work first is to get the standing leg on board. Hug towards the midline, hugging towards the midline. You'll feel your outer tush engaging. Gluteus medius. Piriformis a wee bit, but not much. Gluteus maximus is helping out. So here, once we have this sorted out, we can just lift the toes. Now we're full on in a balance pose. So it doesn't have to be a tree. All we want is one leg to get the full attention for a moment. Now here you can begin to slide the foot up, maybe the heel below the knee. We begin to look more like a classical rendition. And then here we can maybe take one hand or both and practice balance. It is an important skill to maintain. So Lauren Fistman says two things, right? Posture, maintain your posture, and maintain your balance. And take the hands down and release. Stand and feel. We should do the other side. So I'm going to move my chair because then I have room for my whirly leg. But we can get so focused on what the lifted leg is doing that we forget to pay attention to the side that's actually doing the job. So kickstand first, and then hug the standing leg hip into the center, into the center. So you feel that whole side is working, the other side, not so much. Lift the toes, and you are balancing. Have a sense of melting your standing foot into the mat so you occupy as much earth under your foot as possible. Grounding yourself down. And then maybe again slide the leg up. Now take care that you're not hyperextending the standing leg. It's firm, but not rigid. And then we have arms. And you may notice that one side is just a little easier for balance. Ground, but also grow tall and wide. Occupy space. Let's take the hands down and step down. See, it's so easy. Now, and turn the chair around, and we're going to move into our standing poses. The Three Musketeers are first. So we're going to just have a chair at one side of the mat, and we will adjust accordingly. Take the hands to the hips. Take a breath in, and as you exhale. Wide feet. The foot away from the chair is going to turn in slightly. And the chair leg is going to turn out 90 degrees. Heel lining up to heel. And then just look at your knee. Did it turn all the way with the foot? Sometimes our foot dials faster than the knee did. And then we're going to bend and straighten. Bend and straighten. Looking at the knee, does it traction well out over the foot? Is there a little sort of in and out movement? And let's keep it in Warrior Two stance. Knee over ankle. Back leg firm. This is your anchor. Muscles wrapping around bone. And then here, still that same action of hugging your inner thighs together. Hugging the inner thighs together. So initially, Dr. Fisman said 30 seconds on each side for each pose. And then he stretched it out a little bit to 72 seconds. And now I see both numbers, but I think on other people's information, I think because they haven't gotten the update. So again, be a critical consumer. There's so much information available now about everything that is really hard to sift through it all. Straightening the leg. Let's take the arms up. Firm leg, spread your feet on the mat, and let's reach out over the standing leg. Reach, 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 reach. Well, they're both standing, aren't they? Front leg. And then here, drop the chair side arm, boom. And then take the other arm up diagonally away from your chair arm. If this is uncomfortable in your shoulder, don't suffer, no dukkha. Just take the hand to the hip. This practice, these poses are especially about hip strength. One of the most common areas of fracture. Now, you may find that you actually can go down lower, but just be mindful that you're not leading with the hand, that your spine does not bend. It is better to stay higher. With a straight spine, the leg works just as well. Breathing in and out. And now bend the chair leg. Bend the knee towards the chair. And we're in side angle pose. Both legs are powerful and strong. Maybe take the straight leg arm up overhead, creating a straight line. From the back, outer heel, all the way up to the fingertips. And again, if taking the arm up changes the spine, then take the hand down. Take the hand down and be here. And inhale, pressing back up to center. And then heel toe, heel toe, heel toe, heel toe. And step all the way in. Stand and feel. And if you might want to do a little jiggy, jiggy, jiggy because things got a little tense. It's okay to wiggle it out. Let's do the other side. So in today's practice, instead of doing each pose from side to side, as we have done earlier in the week, we are doing them one after another. So again, variety. Starting in mountain pose again. And then remember too, if you have a diagnosis of either osteopenia or osteoporosis, don't jump. But if you don't, You may jump your feet apart. So on the in-breath, step or jump. Turn the back leg in a wee bit and then turn your chair leg out. Spine is still straight up and down. And then bend and straighten the leg. Look down at your knee that it actually tractions out over or towards your foot and not sort of a little sly moving inward. Nothing sly about those knees. So your stance is wide, at least a leg length. Back leg is straight and strong, very firm. Let's hold Warrior Two stance. Very powerful legs. Back leg is boring down into the mat. You feel your quads, you feel your glutes. Front leg, we're letting the adductors lengthen back out a wee bit. And then we settle in to the pose. Now, could you ask, if you wanted to add your arm, add the mudra here? Absolutely. So take your thumb to your ring finger. And breathe. That just makes it even a little bit more something special. So the Three Musketeers, I like to call them, Warrior Two, Triangle, and Side Angle. They like to travel together. Let's straighten the leg, relax the arms. Now reach out over your chair leg. Take the hand to the chair, top arm either to the sky. And you can take it down and up a couple of times just to study. What happens when I move my arm? Is it an isolated event? Is it a comfortable event? And if you say yes to both, then keep it up. But if you say no, then just take it down. It makes you no less of a yogi. Now look as you are aligning your body parts, your front ankle and knee, and your sits bones are all traveling in the same line. The sits bones aligns with the back leg. And bend the front knee, and we are in side angle pose. Powerful back leg, yes? So the front leg is now in chair pose, what we did at the beginning of the practice. The upper body is kind of a downward facing dog, except it's, different orientation. So all poses are part of all poses. Just keep moving your knee back and your hips in the opposite direction. So move your knee towards the pinky side of the toe and the hips forward. Yeah. Couldn't you just stand here for hours? I said, And press into the front foot all the way up. Parallel feet. And again, step or jump on the out breath. Tadasana. Mountain pose. How are things in there? So revolve triangle is his next pose, but I do like standing Marichyasana better. So stand facing your chair, and the reason I like it better, we take the hamstrings clear out of it, but we still get the benefit of strengthening the legs. So take your left leg onto the chair seat, and as you do so, now your right leg becomes a star player. So ground down through the heel. Notice if you're shifting forward, can you keep the weight back, Very nice. Take your right hand to the outer left thigh or knee, and the left hand comes onto the hip. Inhale, lift up through the front spine. And then exhale, ground through your standing leg. And again, use the muscles to turn. Use the muscles to turn. So, George, are you on the coffee table with the leg? Ish? Yes, you are. Perfect. See, everything becomes a yoga prop. Isn't that nice? Now you can take the left hand and extend it back. Again, if it doesn't change the spine. So working both balance and strength. Let's release the arm down, turn back to center, and step down. And other side, right leg comes up. Contract the whole hip complex for the standing leg. Hug towards the midline. Left hand outer right knee, right hand to the hip. Again, if the weight is heavier in your toes than the heel, you may be shifting forward a little bit. So get the weight into the heel firmly on the standing leg, and we begin to turn, begin to turn, begin to turn, using the muscles, lift and lengthen on the in-breath, and then twist, 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 twist. Moving at a pace that is comfortable for your body. Oh, you look good. Maybe take the hip hand straight back as you look back at it. Breathe, breathe, breathe. One more breath. And come back to center. Step the leg down. And because we're here, let's do a dog again, because it just feels good. Stretch everything back. And we're going to walk to the chair and move the chair to the side. Now let's come on to our back body. Take that back. We'll do the seated one first. We'll do Ardha Matsyendrasana. No sense in hiding that for last. Take your blanket or block, and you're folding it again in the hamburger fold so that it is a wide and tight little affair. And then place it on your mat with the skinny. So when you sit on it, there is no blanket on either side. No blanket on either side. Now you might like to sit up on two blankets, and you may also like to put something under your knees. But this pose here, Ardha Matsyendrasana, take your right leg across the left. So now I'm crossing over. So it's similar to Marichyasana 3, except we have the crosser over. What we also have here potentially is to take your left leg and bend it up so that heel is to the outside of your right hip. So the litmus test is, are both sits bones down evenly? It's like, no. So two suggestions. One, sit up higher, or simply straighten your left leg out and just say, I'm not going to bother with you today. Now we'll take the left hand to the outer right knee. Right hand goes back. And we do what we did before. Inhale, we lift. And we exhale, we use the muscles of the trunk and the spine to turn. The in-breath lifts. We reground the sits bones. And then we turn again. Looking all the way back over the right shoulder on about the third event. But now turn and look forward, looking over your left shoulder. So we come to twisting the neck to the spine, giving the thyroid and parathyroid gland a little extra TLC and say, hey, I love you, I love you. I hope you love me too. And then slowly turn the head all the way back. And we unwind from the whole bit. We'll take the legs up in front and switch to the other side. And again, either keep your right leg straight or maybe bending it up to the outside of your left hip. Your left foot is a grounding part in this pose. One thing that can be helpful is just to create lift first, to take both hands around your left knee and then lifting up as you release the left hip down. Get it just good and down. And then we'll leave the right hand on the knee, take the left hand back. And we begin again exploring the twist. Inhale, lift. And exhale. Use your muscles, not your hands. So there are osteoporosis programs that have no twists whatsoever in them because they deem them too dangerous. I don't agree with that, but I do agree with it has to be executed very, very mindfully. The in-breath lifts, the out-breath deepens. And then we turn the head, look over the right shoulder. The glamour shot pose. Breathe. So feeling, sensing the muscles going in any which direction, supporting your wellness, your body, just by using it. And we turn the head back, looking over the shoulder, and all the way back to center. Unwind the legs, take them out straight. Let's take the arms out, maybe all the way up as we root down through the legs. Imagine somebody was pulling you up by your wrist, so you get longer and longer and longer. And release the hands down. Let's come onto our back. Have your strap nearby. 4 more poses. It's that easy. So bridge pose. To block or not to block? That is the question. So take your block and place it between your thighs on the narrow is what I like. You might like the medium. It's whatever feels best for your body. Let's take the hands down alongside. This helps our adductors, which are notoriously tight and weak for many. Inhaling, press into the feet and lift about halfway up. And then roll the shoulders under. Interlace the fingers and investigate. Can I get my hands and my forearms down, or do my elbows bend? If the elbows bend, relax the hands and let the palms just face the sky. Now here, whether clasped or open face, lift the hips higher, squeeze the block, lift, 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 lift. Lifting. Breathing. The twists have prepared the spine for back bending. And we'll take one more breath. And slowly lower down. Remove the block. Now walk the feet out to the edge of your mat and just let the inner knees relax towards one another. Let your inner groins relax. So feet are wide, knees are together. And take the feet back. So everything is hip width apart. Now take your strap. And let's take the right knee in and strap the right foot right in front of the heel, where the talus bone lives. Straightening your right knee. If the knee is bent, the quadricep cannot engage completely, and that's the dude that we really want to talk to. And it's really hard to see, but I encourage you not to take your leg past 90 degrees, even if you can. So just back off a little bit. Yes, Sally, I'm talking to you. And then maybe straighten out the left leg. Now again, check, is the right leg still straight? Is it still straight? Because it's sneaky. Knees are so sneaky. If it buckled when you straightened your left leg, either give yourself more strap or bend out your left knee again. Now let's work the hip here. Take a breath in. And as you exhale, hug the thigh bone into the socket, but reach up through your right heel. So make your leg as long as you can. Relax teeny bit on the in-breath. And we repeat. Ground into the hip socket, but reach up. So the back of the leg gets long, super long. So it's a very firm leg, super firm. Working with your breath cycle. We'll take 3 more breaths. And then take your left hand away from the loop, out to the side. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, take the right leg out. Keep the thigh bone in the socket as you take it out to the side. So there's a sense of the inner groin lengthening. Your left leg is grounding down on the floor, grounding down on the floor. Firm, but not rigid. So here is the adductors, adductors, that we were just activating and bridged with the block. And now we're saying it's okay. You can release that. It's okay. I got it. And we'll take the leg up to the sky. Take the left leg up under the strap and place the right foot on the mat. Assessing again, neutral, and that can be really challenging. So sense your sacrum on the mat, not your low back, should be a little space, and your pelvis should feel even from side to side. Then negotiate straightening the right leg out while maintaining all of those little bits and pieces. Firm right leg. It's a mountain pose. And then from here, the work begins again. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, draw the thigh bone into the socket and reach up through the heel. So the strap provides us a little bit of counter push. There's something to press into. Moving in an even, easy way. Not evaluate. Be curious about your experience. That sounds less scary. Be curious about your experience. Be present in the experience. And then take the right arm out. Take it, a breath in, and exhale, release the leg. Wow. Breathing, sensing. And let's inhale all the way back up. Let's take the right leg back up on the strap with the left. And then press the heels up into the strap and hug the thighs down, both the thighs into the sockets. So firm legs. And let's hug the knees in. We'll remove the strap. Letting the knees soften down towards the chest. And then relax the legs down to the floor. For Shavasana. So here you may like to use your chair for your legs. You have it nearby. You may also like to place a blanket under your knees instead. Maybe a blanket under your head. You may also like, if you're feeling not very grounded, again, the earth energy, to place a blanket or pad on your belly. And that will also help create more earth energy. Once you determine that your body is comfortable, so take a moment to really settle in well. You may choose to again put your fingers in Prithvi Mudra, thumb and ring finger. If the mind feels very active in Shavasana, feeling your heartbeat. The heart that via the oxygen and nutrients, the cells of blood cells delivers the nutrients, the calcium, to our bones while also removing old bone. So there's a constant under construction sign going on with our bones. We are getting rid of old bone. A little rotor-rooting going on with the osteoblasts. And then the osteocytes, our new bone, begins to build. And then I forget what the osteoclast does, something else entirely too. So there are 3 groups of cells that helps us continuously build new bone. So a healthy and strong cardiovascular system. A diet rich in greens. Is what allows your body to facilitate the building blocks needed. The brick and mortar, so to speak. When we rest well, eat well, and move well, we contribute the very best conditions to our body to be well. And when we are well in body, it's easier to be well in mind. I invite you to begin to deepen your breath. Maybe wiggle fingers and toes. Bend up your knees. Hug them into the chest or place the feet on the mat. Whatever your body would like. Rock from side to side. Rolling all the way over onto one side. And pause. Take a breath in and out, and then take one more. So that body, mind, and heart has consolidated as you push up into a comfortable seated posture. I'll bring the palms together at heart center. And we'll close with 3 ohms. Let's take a deep breath in. Exhale and bow your head to your heart. Your light, your divine light that wants to be shared with everybody. Let's draw the gaze back up. Namaste, and thank you.